All right. Well, thank you for having me today. I am fairly new in the solid waste world. I have worked for Campbell County Fiscal Court for 8 years and well, going on 9 this year. But I recently, about 2 years ago, got tasked with solid waste duties. And we belong with a solid waste management area that includes Boone, Campbell, and Kenton counties. So there are solid waste coordinators for each of those counties. However, we are a joint solid waste management area recognized by the state of Kentucky, and Boone County serves as the fiscal agent for that. So their solid waste coordinator is kind of seen as the Northern Kentucky Solid Waste Management Area Coordinator. His name is Mike Wilson, and Melissa Grand's staff is the solid waste coordinator for Kenton County. Just a second, my slides are going kind of slow too. So there are various duties for solid waste coordinators. These probably vary so drastically between different counties in Kentucky. The solid waste coordinator might fall under a public works department. I specifically work in administration, so I do a lot of community services oriented programs. But basically, counties are required to coordinate the collection, disposal, and recycling of other solid waste within their counties. And if they do not want to provide that directly, they at least have to make sure that it's available for residents. For example, in Northern Kentucky, Rumpke, Bestway, Bavarian, those are all local haulers that manage solid waste for our residents. And certain cities usually have like franchise agreements with them. In unincorporated areas, which is what we mainly oversee, it's kind of a just a private enterprise, and they reach out to customers and try to build their customer base, and we don't have any agreements with them particularly. These are just some other duties that we have to do: organize community cleanups. We have to submit annual reports to the state in regards to grant funding, which I'll go over later. I've got a link here if this presentation is going to be shared, of just common duties that you can look at, just a job description. So as I mentioned, each county has somebody responsible for solid waste coordination, although they might not be titled a solid waste coordinator. For example, I think about 40% of my time goes towards solid waste duties. And then in Northern Kentucky, and particularly, we have the city of Covington has a pretty hefty solid waste department. I think they have 2 full-time employees and an intern, and they handle things such as community cleanups, trash pickup, franchise agreements, things of that nature. This link right here, I'm scared to click it because my computer's being kind of slow. If you click this link, it will take you to the Division of Waste Management's website through the state of Kentucky, and you can see a list of every single solid waste coordinator and their contact information in the state. So you can reach out to the one that falls within your area. So as I mentioned, our solid waste management area is comprised of Boone, Kenton, and Campbell counties, and all of the cities within that as well. So when we report to the state every year, Boone, Campbell, and Kenton submit some reports to Boone, and then we just submit it jointly. And these reports include things: how many tons of trash were picked up curbside in your county in that last year, calendar year. How many cleanup events did you hold? How much yard waste did you collect? And then you also have to report on the different grants received. Sorry, I just saw it come through and I was reading it. So as I mentioned, the Kentucky Division of Waste Management is kind of who all of us solid waste coordinators look to for guidance on how to come up with, really detailed ordinances for trash collection and maintenance in your county. They offer all kinds of technical assistance and funding opportunities, which is the most important. I have a link to their grants page here, and I can share all of these links in the chat or with you, Steve. They have a litter abatement grant, which is only available to counties and cities. And this is based on, it's not really anything you apply for. You just kind of say you're interested. And this is only for roadside litter cleanup in your county. So for example, in Campbell County, if the city of Newport decide, hey, I want these litter abatement funds this year, that gets deducted from the county's allocation, which is based off of your population and square road miles. in your county. So we have a couple of cities that take it. I think we as a county get about $60,000 a year, and we use those funds to have our inmates from the detention center that work in the work release program. They go out with a deputy jailer, pick up all kinds of I have a slide later about how many bags they picked up in 2019. And we do trash for cash groups out of that funding as well, because it can only be used for roadside litter cleanup. I've asked, can this be used for waterway cleanup, like along river trails? And it cannot. It has to be, because of the funding source, it has to be roadside cleanup. Illegal open dumps have to be applied for by the county in which it is located. However, any community partner can approach the county solid waste coordinator and, inform them of an open dump. And then we as the county, I think, have to apply. And then even more so, we have that extra layer in Northern Kentucky. I think Boone County would have to officially submit the request if the dump was located in Campbell County. But I think that could definitely, like if something was located along a waterway and it was just an open dump, that's definitely something that could qualify. And it can also be done on a reimbursement basis. So you can go ahead and get it cleaned up and not, wait on it and then apply for reimbursement later. All of the information about these grants is on this website, like who's applicable, the amount of funding, the reporting requirements and eligible expenses and whatnot. Waste Tire Grant is a funding opportunity, which is kind of just blanketed across the state. Each county gets $4,000. County specifically spent over $16,000 last year recycling and properly disposing of tires at our county cleanup events and along roadways. It's not nearly enough, but they give us, what they can. So we're very thankful for it. They also offer grant applications. We've never done these. Crumb rubber, tire derived, rubber modified asphalt. That's where if you want to use tire derived products to pour roadways, people make playgrounds out of these. I've seen some really, really cool projects come of it, but we've never done it. And then one of our biggest events is the Household Hazardous Waste event in Florence. I've got a lot of slides on that later, so I'll kind of just skip over that. Boone and Kenton apply for some recycling funding through the state. They operate their own public recycle bins for customers who do not have curbside recycling offered to them. And then there's also composting grants. We don't have any here in Northern Kentucky that I'm aware of. I think we applied for one. Western Kentucky University has a huge composting grant that they use at their school. I'm not too familiar with it, but I'm sure there's information on their website. So a little bit of how we operate and how we're funded. Essentially in Campbell County, it comes out of our general fund. We don't have any fees for service for any of our cleanup events. It's completely free to residents to utilize these. We don't have any franchise fees with haulers because we don't have any franchise agreements. And we don't have a landfill located within our county. If you have a landfill such as Pendleton County has Rumpke's landfill in Butler, I believe they pay like a host agreement to be located there. We do have state grants, which amount to, I think, about $65,000, and that's our litter abatement and our waste tire grant. And then we get very, very small recycling revenues from scrap metal and batteries at our county cleanup events, which happen twice a year. So this is the mission of the Northern Kentucky Solid Waste Management Area. And I kind of went over all of these programs. We have our HHW event, waste tire collection events, county cleanup events. The ones that really, I have slides on these as well. The River Sweep and Live Christmas Tree Recycling Program would probably be most applicable to anyone interested in water quality. So this is just a picture from one of our a Campbell County cleanup event. We host twice a year. So every April and every October, we'll host a 2-day event where residents can come and get rid of any bulky trash that they have. We get a lot of appliances containing Freon because those are almost impossible to get rid of without paying a really hefty fee. Boone County offers monthly cleanups in addition to its residents, and Kenton County has a voucher program on their website. So if you have curbside trash in Kenton County, you are eligible to participate in a voucher program where 10 times a year you can take 1 load of trash out to Bavarian landfill in Boone County for free. So these are just some statistics from a 2019 cleanup for Campbell County. we just at one location, we had over 1,000 vehicles come through, and you can see it cost about $52,000 to put this on just for the trash alone. That doesn't include our electronic recycling. So just for trash alone and tires, we paid $52,000. We collect a lot of tires at these events. We had 48 tons at this one event alone. I think we get like about 100 tons a year in tires. And as mentioned before, we do a Trash for Cash program. In Campbell County, we have about 30 groups, just small nonprofit groups. They get $100 a lane mile, so they can get 10 miles, $1,000 an event to help offset costs. A lot of school groups, church groups. So those groups alone, in addition to the detention center crew that goes out, they picked up 4,400 bags and 272 tires in 2019. Just along the roadways in Campbell County. And the hazardous waste event that I mentioned is one of the biggest in the state. I think they look at us as a model for it. We have lanes of cars come through at the Florence Freedom Stadium, and every November, it's always the first Saturday. And I think last year, can't add these up really quickly, we had like 2,600 vehicles come through in a 5-hour time span. State grant. We get reimbursed for everything except paint. So that's like a big thing. We always have to find donations for paint. So we normally look to our cooperative extension agents for assistance with that. As I mentioned, we also have public recycling programs. So this is what it looks like at one of the Campbell County locations. This is our animal shelter. As I mentioned, we do not have curbside recycling for unincorporated residents. It's not provided by trash haulers for whatever reason. They have to have enough people want to sign up to make it profitable for them and also worthwhile driving the trucks out there to pick up the recyclables. We take basically, these are operated by Rumpke, but Boone and Kenton counties operate their own. Boone County has its own recycling facility in Boone County, and they use inmate labor to help sort these, and then they sell these to aftermarket vendors. And they have more information on their website here. You can see all the locations. We have 5 locations in Campbell. I think Boone County has upwards of 20 locations of these bins across Boone County, and Kenton, I think, has 15 to 17 locations. And so as I mentioned, we do not provide much technical assistance towards water related issues. We're very interested and we've been getting involved with certain river cleanup initiatives in Northern Kentucky. But the Campbell County Extension Office does a river sweep at Pendry Park every year. And last year they collected 570 pounds. Unfortunately, it's been canceled this year due to everything going on. So we'll have to pick it back up next year. And then a few years ago, my spacing's weird there, sorry. We used to collect Christmas trees and then give them to Northern Kentucky University for mulching. But then I was approached by the Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife a few years ago about collecting our trees, and then they will take them and drop them for fish habitat in various lakes throughout the state. So we actually started doing it a few years ago, and we tripled the amount of trees we collected in prior years this past year. And we had almost 2,200 trees in Northern Kentucky. And they pick them up from us. It's really simple. We have our residents drop them off about 2 weeks after the holiday season, and then they come pick them up and take them away from us. So ways that you can get involved with us, I have a list of all of our partners here. And we have monthly or every other month meetings, and now they're virtual. So if you're interested in listening in on the next one, I think it's in August, the third Wednesday in August, or third Monday in August. So I think August 17th. Just get in touch with me and I can get you the Zoom link for that. And then another partnership that I kind of hinted at is it basically only Boone County is not really involved in this because the Licking River doesn't touch them. But Kenton and Campbell County recently got involved with the Licking River Jacob Spears Trail Project. I have the link to the website here. There are so many partners involved with this. I don't even feel like I'm going to do it justice, but essentially they would like to have the solid waste coordinators be involved with riverside cleanup efforts all along the Licking River, along this 122-mile trail. So we've tried to organize some cleanups. I think they're probably going to get canceled, unfortunately. And we've tried to reach out to like national partners like Living Lands and Waters to see if we can get some help getting some of the bigger items out of the Licking River. I know that in Pendleton County, the coordinator there has been working with Faxon's Canoe. And just in an hour, I think they picked up over 60 tires. So essentially a tire a minute. So I know that they're still working with them to continuously clean up Pendleton County. So here's some other resources for water cleanups. I mentioned the illegal open dump grant. And then we do have, I don't know if this has been postponed, but the Northern Kentucky Ad District is due for its every 3-year waste tire collection event, which is paid for by the state. They might be postponed because everything's getting postponed, but we are due this fall to have our event. I've not heard any word on when that will be. But essentially, any resident in Kentucky can take their tires to any of these events. It doesn't matter if you live in that county, and just get rid of tires for free. I think the only stipulation is it can't be like a business or anything. It just has to be a resident. So if you had volunteer groups wanting to do tire cleanups and then drop them off at these events, the state has every event listed on their website. I just don't think they have the most recent schedule up yet. And then another way to get involved is, this has also been postponed to April 2021, but every September, solid waste coordinators and you don't have to be a solid waste coordinator. There are nonprofits there, universities, everyone gets together at Lake Cumberland for a 2-day workshop put on by the Division of Waste Management. I have a link to the agenda here so you can see what the types of presentations were last year. I can't really recall much being done about water, but I think they would definitely be open to having somebody present about that. And then these are just some more resources for you to get additional information. I've got the Division of Waste Management, Campbell, Kenton, and Boone solid waste pages, and then our Household Hazardous Waste Coalition page. And I think that might be it. If we want to open it up to questions.